Okay guys, let's take a look at the product rule. So the product rule is a rule that we need to use when we're trying to differentiate a product of two functions. So for example, y equals x squared times sine x, or y equals x cubed times cos x, so on, so on. So you have a formula for your product rule, and the formula is this. If y is equals to u times v, dy dx equals u times dv dx plus v times du dx. Now this formula is more complicated looking than it really is. This will be much easier to understand with an example. Now you've noticed in my examples here I've got a lot of coses and sines and ln's. So the other thing we're going to be using is this idea here. So we have our y and our dy dx. This tells us that if y is sine x, dy dx will be cos x. So sine x differentiates to cos x differentiates to minus sine x, ln of x differentiates to 1 over x, and e to the power of x differentiates to itself to e to the power of x. So let's start off. We'll have a look at question 1 here. Y is equals to x squared times the sine of x. So y is equals to x squared times the sine of x. So the first thing we do is we label the first part of the product u and the second part of the product v. So we will say that u is equals to x squared and v is equals to sine x. Now if we look back at the rule here, to get dy dx we need u times dv dx plus v times du dx. So we need this thing called dv dx and we need this thing called du dx. Now that's fairly straightforward. Du dx is what you get when you differentiate u with respect to x. So du dx will be 2x. dv dx is what you get when you differentiate v with respect to x. So dv dx will be equals to cos of x. So once we have our labels, we have our u, we have our v, we have our du dx, we have our dv dx, then we just fill into this formula. To get dy dx, it's going to equal u times dv dx plus v times du dx. So to get our dy dx, it's going to be u times dv dx, that's x squared times cos x, plus v times du dx, plus sine x times 2x. And then we can tidy this particular term up. Usually you put the algebraic before the trigonometric. So tidying this up, dy dx therefore in this case is x squared times cos x plus 2x times sine x. And that is how you use the product rule. It's a fairly straightforward rule, and you have to remember anytime you see a product of two functions, one function multiplied by the other, and you want to differentiate it, that's when we need to label it u and v, get our du dx, get our dv dx, and then fill into our product rule formula. So what you guys should do now is practice these questions, keep an eye on your solutions, and for access to questions, solutions, graded quizzes and more, visit www.limbymaths.com.